Recording in progress. So we're gonna get started. It looks like we got more on Zoom than we do in person today, but thank you everybody for being here. You're stuck with me today to run through team meeting, but fortunately we have Broch that's gonna do a presentation so you don't have to listen to me the whole time. All right. Oh, I even get a clicker, so let's start with bucket fills. You guys know the drill. Tell me something good. Anyone? Nothing good happened to anybody this week. Really? Here, wait. Let me hit the rates. Rates are coming down. Is that good? Okay, everybody should be nodding vigorously. Yes, that's good. All right. Thank you, Broch. Robin? Did you have?
I went on a cruise. That's great news. To Alaska and Canada, British Columbia.
Nice.
It was fantastic. Gave some business cards out.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Work hard, play hard. All right. Let's grab one more. Bucket fill. Anything good?
I have one.
I got somebody on Zoom. Go ahead.
This is Daylise, and I just wanted to say that Christine Carrington, Janet Zimmerman, and Becky Nay and I had a little overnight retreat, and we did some business planning, and we talked about where we want our businesses to grow, and they're all fantastic ladies, and I'm grateful to be in business with them.
Awesome. Fantastic. That's great to hear that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Anybody else got anything they want to add? All right, let's take a look and see what we've got. We got lunch today provided. Is anybody here from Acclaimed? Doesn't look like yet, so we'll make sure Aaron's going to remind me to carve out some time towards the end of the meeting to our vendor spotlight for Acclaimed home warranties. 75 hard. Who's on the blue team? Anybody in the blue team in here? Okay, well, I got a couple hands. We got some blue in here, which is obviously, cranking it. How about red? Do we got any reds in here? Okay, red. Your third place. Purple. I think I might be purple. I gotta get going on it. Any purples, right? How about greens? Any greens in here? And orange. Anybody orange in here? Oh, Alexi reminded me. Thank you. I'm pulling the broker exempt card from that a little bit till, not that there's been anything going on. There's been no changes recently, right? So, okay. But I'm going to get committed to that. So blue and orange, great job. And green, purple, red. Let's crank it up and get caught up. Any comments on 75 hard? Okay. Kuwahara. Who's familiar with this? Show of hands in here and chime out on Zoom if you've participated in this event over the past few years. Okay, I see a fair amount of hands on it. I'm going to give you my personal opinion. I've done a pumpkin patch of one way, shape, or form for a very long time. It's one of my favorite events because kids and adults love to do them. We migrated over along with South Valley to Kuwahara several years ago, and it is a fantastic venue. If you haven't purchased tickets, purchase them. If you're new and you haven't done a client event or participated in one, here's a suggestion. Take $100, just get $100 worth of tickets and go give them to the people closest to you. And it's a client appreciation event. Thank them for the future business that they're going to send you. Okay, get in the habit of this. People love this. I have people that start calling me in July asking if we've got the date set on it yet. So that's my plug for it. Take advantage of it. And if you're available, I know the committee is going to need just some help down there in getting signed in. And I'm going to do that myself. I like doing that because I get a chance to see my customers when they come in, say hello to them, interact with them, and then they go with their family and have fun. So get your tickets. Real quick on that, anybody here that has an update? Our ticket sales brisk? Anybody on Zoom? No? Okay. Okay, next, I want to put this Master Your Agent Finances with Amy McMullen. Amy is a great resource when it comes to agent financials, i.e. accounting. and spreadsheets and all that kind of, who's great with spreadsheets in here? Notice my hand is not up. Okay. I have to rely on other people to do that. And Amy is a great resource. Let's see. Set up your finance for success, perfect for all agents at any level. And that is going to be via Zoom on, my eyes that bad. What's the 16th there? Thank you for pointing that out. The 16th from 4 to 5 via Zoom. Okay. Emily is doing a new construction. This is a great class. I've been to this several times over the years. 10 ways to build your value in a new construction transaction. And guys, if you haven't loved new construction the past few years, fall in love with it. Builders are chomping at the bit to make sure that they pay buyer agent commissions. I mean, they're going out of their way to make sure that we bring our buyers. The builders that I know, they all love us. Okay, so learn how to work with your clients when they're buying new construction. And this is going to be, this is the 19th from 10 to 12. It is 2 hours of CE. Looks like lunch is provided. And I was asked to point out this is in person only. It will not be Zoom. Okay, so probably because it's CE. So make sure you put that on your calendar for next week. And guys, we're thinning out team meeting a little bit because we can do a lot of these. We're going to try to condense the announcement time period on it. And why? Because we got all the information coming to you on the Monday newsletter. Who knows what day the Monday newsletter comes out in KW South Valley? Shout it out. Anybody on Zoom? Monday. Check your newsletter, guys. There's great information. I'm doing periodic broker videos on there. And so you keep them in your email. If you're not sure about a class, it's a great resource. As the broker, newer broker here, I'm trying to get, for me to contain all this information. And where do I go? I got two sources really. I've got the Home Hub, which is basically our website, right? The Home Hub has great information on it. And I'm really relying on the newsletters. We want to make it easy on you. Yeah, you got to scroll down through them. There's a lot of stuff going on, but there's great information there. So if you're at KW South Valley, if you're on Zoom, if you're new, if you've been around for a while, two sources, the best source of information is the weekly newsletter that comes out on what day? Monday. And the Home Hub, okay? You can scan the QR code and that will take them somewhere, Aaron, to the newsletter? Okay.
It'll just pull up like a web browser version of it. It'll say good morning, Aaron. It won't have your name personalized on it, but
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll work on that. Thanks, Aaron. Okay. And in just a moment, I'm going to invite Broch to come up. As broker, I'm just wanted to take a couple minutes and I've been doing a lot of talking in a lot of classes to get us ready for this. I hope that I've been able to prepare you guys and answer questions with these settlement changes, right? I'm committed to continuing to have those conversations with you. That being said, I'm not going to do the Friday class. So last week we just, attendance has dwindled a little bit on it. I'm still open to doing some classes specific to the settlement if we need and some other topics. So keep an eye out for a little change of schedule when I'm going to be doing some additional broker classes and high level classes, entry level classes. You guys tell me what you want. Okay. Call me, text me, email me. Let me know what you'd like to have some more information on. I'm happy to put it together. With that being said, any broker questions today? We'll just take 5 minutes if there's any broker questions, what you're seeing out there based on the changes, something non-related to the NAR settlement. I love answering those questions.
Seeing houses that are great, that are sitting.
Okay, Robin says she's seeing houses that are great, that are sitting.
Buyers like, is this house not sold, whether it's my listing or whether it's other ones. And I know some things are selling faster, but
Yeah.
it feels like the market in 12 years.
Right. Probably agree with that. A little bit of a slow market right now, and the market is dynamic, right? It doesn't stay the same all the time. Whenever I'm hearing that, and I'm just going to tell you guys from my experience, here's something I learned a long time ago. Many of you have heard me say this before. With my listings, when I'm setting my seller up on it, I don't know. Sometimes I list it and I think it's the best price and it doesn't sell right away. Or other times I think I'm listing it too high and it sells right away. When it's not selling, one of the things I'm having a conversation with my sellers before we even go on the market is no matter what price we choose, the market will tell us where we need to be within about 14 days. Lots of showings and no offers, we are 3 to 5% overpriced. No showings, no offers, 7 to 10%. I apologize, I missed the mark on that, folks. But the reality is we're going to get some showings on it. And what I'm trying to get them is that if we get 5 to 10 groups to come through and they don't make an offer on the property, guys, it's overpriced. Would anyone disagree with that? Unless there's something physically wrong with the house, but that's extremely rare. And the price will still fix it. So this is a type of market, I'm spending more time talking with my sellers about potential price reductions before we even hit the market. I'm even having them. Just this morning, I got a fourplex down in Utah County where the seller called me and wanted to discuss a price reduction because he says, hey, we're at 20 days on the market. Okay, that's what I want. I want them to understand that. So it's my job to communicate to them. As agent, that's our job. I will have those tough conversations with them. They're not fun. I just joke with them. I tell them, I don't want to call you on the 14th day and tell you that we need to do a price reduction. However, if that's what the market's indicating, I will call you and have that conversation with you. It makes it much easier to get price reductions done because time is what? Would you agree time is the enemy of the seller? Okay. It's another one that I use. Time is the enemy of the seller. So just thoughts on me with pricing.
Would you say
Lisa?
that's in any price point?
Lisa asked, would I say that's in any price point? Yes and no. Typically under COVID, it was 5 days. 3 to 5 days. If we listed Thursday, we didn't have multiple offers, we missed the boat, we got to do a price reduction, but that was rare, right? Again, COVID was different. We had no inventory. If I'm looking at sub 1 million, yeah, 2 weeks. That's my target for a price reduction. Because the thing that I know, I don't have statistics. Maybe you guys would agree or disagree. The seller will get more money in the first 30 days than they will anytime thereafter. That's been my experience in the time that I've been selling real estate. So I don't want them waiting to 30 days. Now, a million up, 21 days, maybe 30 days at the most. I want them to be getting those price reductions done. Because if they're sitting at 60 and 90 days, when you guys have a buyer client, and you're looking at a house that's been on the market for 90 days, what do your buyers ask you?
They're asking last night, what's wrong with this really cute house as a rental place?
Do you think that they're going to come in and make a really good offer on that house? No. So explain that to your sellers. Put your sellers in the eyes of a buyer. They understand it, guys. They don't necessarily want to do it, but if you aren't a strong listing agent and having good pricing conversations with your folks, you're really doing them a disservice. Okay. Sitting at the market 60, 90 days. Well, Mike, the right buyer hasn't shown up. You're right. And when the right buyer shows up, they won't make an offer on your property, or it'll be so ridiculously low that you're not going to entertain it. So just some thoughts from me on pricing. I'm not the know-all, but it's worked very well for me. I sell a very high percentage of my listings, and start on the listing presentation. When you're doing your net sheets, if you're looking to price something at 850, how is it going to be if we need to go to 825? What if we've got to go to 800? Have those conversations with them. Okay. So any other last broker questions? All right. Well, let's invite Aaron. Is it
Sandra Perkins with Plan Warranties.
Oh, okay. Do you want to come up now, Sandra? It's
Hello, everyone.
Sandra from Acclaimed Warranty. Come on up.
Yes, hello. How's everyone doing? Hi, Rob.
Good.
How's it going? So, just a little bit about Acclaimed. Most of you know Acclaimed. Raise your hands. Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So, this month we do a monthly special every month, and what this month is he's passing those out. We're actually offering a free furnace tune-up when you order in September. So the orders that come in, they're going to add a free tune-up in there, which is a $60 value for the service fee that we charge. We also do a free rekey service, so win-win, right? A lot of F words today, free. With that, so the ultimate plan will come with that free rekey service. We're still at 600, still. for the time being. And then we have the other plans you can choose from, but our ultimate plan is the better plan. I'd like to go over that. We're unlimited on our HVAC. So what that means is if your home has 2 ACs, 2 furnaces, it actually covers those. So we don't actually have a limit. So on home warranties, you'll notice that there's limits: plumbing, electrical appliances, garage door systems. There's limits on those. So with our HVAC, it's actually unlimited. Okay. Yeah, that is nice to have. We also do, so we have, I don't have it on this little brochure, but I do have the brochures in the back. It will show additional coverages. So if you have a home that has 2 water heaters, the plan will cover 1, and then you can actually add on that. You can actually add pools, you can do roof leak protection. So there's additional add-ons that you can actually build onto that plan. Excuse me. If you have a home that's over 6,000 square feet, you can add on that square footage for $250. So all plans cover up to 6,000 square feet.
Nice.
Another thing we do boiler systems. We cover for swamp coolers. We do have the compatibility of the coverage of the AC Freon coverage. So there's a lot of the AC Freon you probably heard, of course. Anything older than 2010 is the 410A, not 410A, R22. So that's really old Freon, R22. And then the new one is the 410A. They're actually going to be doing another Freon that's coming up. You got to love it, right?
And it's going to be more expensive, right? Yeah.
Right. So just like the 410A that we have, that's going to be more expensive. So that's coming too. So just keep aware of that. We do have our brochures in Spanish. So if you work with any Spanish clients, we do have brochures Spanish. I like to have all these things in my hand, so I know I'm not forgetting anything. Listing coverage. We do offer a no-cost listing coverage. You can put the listing on the home, and it's no cost upfront. What it is so basically you have the listing coverage. When you get a buyer that comes in, we want to get it converted over to the buyers. And then if the buyers do that, then the sellers, if they're paying for the warranty, they actually get $50 off. So I have this information over there as well with our cute little Norman. He's our little mascot. We have little free rekey keychains to help with those free rekeys. So I'll keep some here as well. Does anybody have any questions? I know you have a lot to choose from, but I'm your go-to gal, and we're one of the vendors, preferred vendors here. So reach out to me. I'm happy to help. Okay, awesome.
Awesome.
I brought you tacos. It's Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Thank you very much. Guys, support our preferred vendors. Thank you, Acclaimed, for coming in. If you guys don't have a go-to warranty person, take a minute to thank them for coming in and bringing us tacos, right? We love everybody that brings us tacos, so thank you. Okay, with that, I'm gonna let Broch come up. Broch's got a presentation for us, and then he's promised to allow me a couple minutes to I wanna be selfish. I just got a ton of questions I wanna ask him as a broker with, how can you guys finance your commission? I'm kidding. Commissions aren't set. They're not set by any board association or MLS, et cetera. Okay, here, Broch, I'll turn this one over to you because we know this one is working. All right. You can,
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
People had just be aware, we probably got 10 to 15 to do.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Try and stay center. Okay, cool. Oh, got it. Can hear. Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so Zoom people, I'm sorry, but we do have a handout. We have no slides that are digital or that you can view on Zoom, so just listen well. But first off, I'm grateful to be back here at KW South Valley. We were a very common face here for years. And then there was a little bit of a hiatus, and we've been a little bit kind of behind the scenes, and now we're here. So I want to thank Mike, Emily, Barry for letting us be here. We love the KW family. We have relationships with a ton of you guys. And yeah, so we're thankful to be here. Most of you know me and TJ and Ryan. That's TJ Heidenreich, Ryan King, and me, Broch Lassig. So we have all been part of the same group for years, really their whole careers. And of course, I've been part of my group for my whole career. But recently, we decided to join forces and collaborate our efforts. So instead of running independent businesses with the same support team, instead we've just conglomerated and created a better experience for the clients and our partners. So the purpose of this was sometimes there is a personality match that an agent might be targeting. Maybe they want somebody younger than I am, or they want somebody different than TJ is, or whatever. We thought it might be a dynamic way to give you, we hear that from realtors a lot, a dynamic way for you guys to have options of different personalities within the same team. So you get the same experience from an operational perspective as you're used to getting, and you don't have to go to multiple lenders. So TJ and I and Ryan have joined forces. We've been a little bit on a hiatus, building and growing the team and kind of putting new systems in place to help make it more beneficial for you realtors, really, and your clients. That's what we've been out doing. So we haven't done a ton of events. Lots of you have been to our events in the past. But what I'm going to share with you today is a miniature version. You all have the handout, a miniature version of a bigger event that we do, which is winning the buyer. So we're doing a quick preview. I pulled a few slides out of it. But to get going, thank you for give me the time for the quick intro. So the other day I heard a funny joke about realtors to try and break the ice here. So a realtor called their therapist and said, hey, I need to get in and see you. I got some stuff I got to talk about. And the therapist said, great, let's do it. Unfortunately, I'm booking out about 6 months from now. So first available appointment is sometime in March. Will that work for you? And the realtor said, you're out of your mind. I can't wait that long. You got to have somebody you can refer me to. The therapist says, well, sure, I got 200 people in my network. I could refer you to a bunch of them. But they're all out at least 6 months up to a year. And the agent says, what in the hell is going on? Is this the end of the world? Like, what is going on? Why is everybody so booked out? She said, no, it's not the end of the world, but all these people keep mentioning the initials NAR. So we know this is a big thing, and change is upon us. And I throw these on just for the effect. But the reality is change is opportunity in disguise. And it's something, this is a mindset shift that we have to make. And this change is here. We can't change it. We just have to embrace it, right? So, yeah, please go ahead, take a picture. I was going to take them off, pick up my presentation. All right. So who in here would consider themselves competitive? So you all probably agree with me. I'm competitive too. Competitive people actually love change. I embrace change. When it happens, I'm like, yes. Why? Because my competitors can't keep up with the change. I can evolve, I can change, and I can present things that are high value to my customers quicker than they can. So that is part of our opportunity. Change gives us this opportunity to excel beyond what our competitors can do. So I would say embrace that. Now, us lenders had this opportunity. So 2020, 21, we all remember we had what, 2.75% mortgage rates, maybe lower. It was sickening. That opportunity may have looked like a refi boom for realtors and a bunch of sales for you guys, for lenders, refi boom for lenders. But really the opportunity that was disguised during this time for us lenders was who could stay present for their realtor partners and their clients, because your business didn't stop. But many lenders, their business stopped for you, right? The barrier to entry for lenders back in that time was like, did you answer your phone? And can you close in less than 60 days? That was the barrier to entry, because everybody was so buried in refis. The opportunity that we saw, the ones that were paying attention, was doubling and tripling down on our realtor partners. We did that in a huge way here, actually, at this office. That's when really we kind of got involved with you guys, maybe a year before that. And we doubled and tripled down for this opportunity. Now, when rates went up, lots of lenders went out of business. Lots of lenders became unemployed. Frankly, so did realtors, right? I mean, it's been a tough go. But during that time, rates went up. Our business didn't change. In fact, of course, we closed less because we didn't have all the refis. But from a purchase standpoint, our business is up like 100% from a purchase closing perspective. Why? Because we were present and we recognized the opportunity that was in front of us, and we earned the trust and the love of the realtor partners in the local marketplace. So that is a similar opportunity that you guys as realtors have going into this NAR change. And you can't get confused. Lots of lenders got confused with refi booms, with the refi boom back then. You realtors can't get confused and freaking out about these changes because they are what they are. And the reality is, if you just pivot your mindset a little bit, these changes are an opportunity for realtors to actually make more money moving into this new phase of the market. not less money. This is an attack on your commissions, yes, but it's not meaning that you are going to make less money. The reason I say that is, we've thought a lot about this, and pre-NAR changes, when we had cooperative compensation, it was on the MLS, it was very easy. Who negotiated your compensation? If you had a buyer going to buy a listing, who negotiated your comp? The listing agent. You hopped on the listing, client wanted to go see it. That one's paying 2.5, that one's paying 2, that one's paying 3, whatever. The listing agent negotiated your compensation. And slowly but surely, that's definitely come down over the past couple of years. With these changes, by law now, it's not even just giving you the opportunity, but by law, you're forced to have the conversations with your clients to negotiate your own compensation, which some of the best realtors have always done that. They've always demanded 3% or whatever their percentage is that they choose. But many have just relied on what the seller's offering. And now you have the opportunity and actually the obligation from a legal standpoint to negotiate your own. So this really, truly is an opportunity in disguise of an attack on your livelihood. So look at it in that. We have to shift our mindset. And a couple things that I wrote down just thinking of that this morning actually is, you think about it, how do you win? Knowing these changes are in place. Now you're in control of your compensation. You're not just running a transaction. How do we win? Any ideas on how you think you can win? So I'll give you the answer. You've got to upgrade your presentation skills, upgrade your negotiation skills, and be able to demonstrate the value you actually bring to your customers. Because we all know in this industry, you guys bring significant value. That, like, for the lay person to go negotiate a real estate transaction is like, forget about it. I mean, unless they're an experienced investor or something like that, there's way too many moving pieces, way too many emotions involved. Like, there is value that you guys bring. You need to upgrade your presentation skills to demonstrate that value, because then at that point, your compensation will not be questioned. So it's really up to you. And that's the beauty. It's a little daunting because it is up to us completely at this point. But that's the opportunity. A couple other points that I wrote down, which I texted the guys this morning, and they teased me, said, you're Socrates. But I said, upgrade your mindset from fear to service. So many people, lots of realtors I talk to, they are stuck in like, oh my gosh, this NAR thing. What do I do? Well, I've got this contract. Somebody doesn't want to pay me. My client's asking me about my compensation. I've never had these conversations before. There's a lot of fear. Just upgrade it to service. Like, how can you serve these clients? And if you serve them well, they're not going to question your compensation. Whatever you think you're worth, they won't question it. As long as you serve them and you go service first, not fear first. And number two is, I've heard tons of realtors in the industry and even lenders talk about pivoting, right? And if you think about the word pivoting in the business, like it's kind of logically makes sense, but a pivot is a pivot, right? It's a move in direction. This shouldn't mean that you have to change your whole business because the NAR changed a rule that frankly, half of the people were probably, especially here in Utah, there's many states in the country that didn't have buyer broker agreements before this. So we kind of have a leg up, but pivoting is not the answer. You don't want to change the whole way you're doing business. You just want to evolve with these changes, embrace these changes, and focus on how you can provide a better service to your clients, demonstrate your value better. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, so welcome. I appreciate your guys' time. I do put tons and tons of effort into making sure that I'm delivering value that is high quality and beneficial for you. I know that time is money for you guys. You could be making tens of thousands of dollars per transaction, calling people right now, and instead you're listening to me. So I appreciate it. I don't take it lightly, and I put a lot of effort into this material. We do have a luncheon with this full presentation I'm going to dive into. We have a luncheon this Thursday. At the end, I'll show you how you can RSVP. I think we have like, how many spots? 5. So we have 5 spots left. So I'll let you know how you can RSVP for that. Okay. So now a quick intro to myself. I know most of everybody in here. Some people are not as familiar with faces, but I work with a lot of you guys. To give you an intro on me, my name is Broch Lassig. I'm the branch manager and team leader of the Lassig Team at CrossCountry Mortgage. We have a branch in South Jordan. I've been in this business for 16 years, and over that 16-year period, I've helped just over 5,000 families buy and finance real estate. We have a ton of experience, but through this experience, it's enabled me to develop a team of extraordinary champions. Like, if any of you that work with us know, our team is like the most top-notch realtor you can find in the marketplace. My team is that good or better than they are. My team is as good as underwriters at calculating income and different things. So over this time, we have really focused on developing a team to give you a consistent process that you can rely on. So we can deliver on our four core pillars of value that we work to deliver to you realtors. Those four core pillars is pillar number one, insane lead follow-up. So this is something that a lot of realtors, I'm always shocked when I hear this, but they're like, they say their lenders don't follow up with their leads or their referrals. And I'm thinking, what in the hell is their problem? This has just been kind of a staple in my business. We literally will follow up with the lead. We have a CRM. Everything is tracked in a CRM all the way through, which is very beneficial for you because we know who referred Sally, and then Sally referred somebody else, and Joe referred somebody else. So we can track. It's like multi-level marketing mortgages. You never lose an opportunity that comes in your web of business with our team because we're so organized. And that leads to the insane lead follow-up. We follow up with people for sometimes 3 years. We'll follow up with people that and dish them back to the realtor pre-approved, and the realtor doesn't even remember referring them to our team. It's insane. So pillar number one, insane lead follow-up. That's worth, hundreds of thousands of dollars to you guys, I would say, in the value that we bring as a team. Pillar two is a superior mortgage experience. So this has been my tagline since I got in the business, a superior experience that I want to deliver to you guys and your clients. The way we define this is we have 2-hour mortgage pre-approvals Monday through Saturday. So this means that a client, all they have to do is submit an application, upload a few documents, and we will have a fully pre-underwritten pre-approval 6 days a week within 2 hours. That's powerful. This is not a quick, I'm at my kid's football game and I hop on the phone and I'm like, oh yeah, do a couple calculations and pre-qual somebody. That's not what this is. This is a take it to the bank pre-approval in 2 hours, 6 days a week. That's huge for you guys. Holistic mortgage planning. We say not drive-through mortgage. Lots of you know us for this reason. Drive-through mortgage is a client calls your lender or whoever they know or you refer, and the lender says, okay, perfect. What are you looking to do? How much do you want to put down? What do you want your payment? And they just quickly do a reverse engineer and say, perfect, here's your pre-approval letter. And they walk out the door with exactly what they asked for. Now, we want to give clients what they ask for, of course. But as professionals, similar to you guys, we have to bring a legitimate value to the customers. And holistic mortgage planning, we take the time to basically walk them through a process. And this process that we use is, number one, optimize mortgage leverage. Number two, mitigate financial risks. And number three, ultimately maximize wealth growth potential for them and their family. This is way more substantial than another lender because lots of people are selling a home. I'll give you a quick example. Lots of people are selling a home and buying a new home and they net 250 grand in equity. They're just saying, I want to do the whole 250 down because I want the cheapest payment. I want to pay my house off, so on and so forth. Well, once we understand their goals, most people don't actually want that. Most people are more interested in exaggerating their wealth potential over a long period of time. They just don't understand how to do it. And that's what we understand. We study money. So think about it. I take a client, instead of doing 250K down, we tell them to do, say it's an $800,000 house. So we tell them to do 100 grand down. Let's just say with down payment and closing costs, 10% plus closing costs. So now they have 150,000 that they didn't put down. 150K is going to increase their payment $900 a month. Most people buying an 800K house can afford that if they know that it's going to something beneficial. Well, 150 grand, to give you an idea, so it saves them $900 a month. But if they threw 150 grand in the S&P 500 with an average return of 10% for 30 years, that 150 grand in 30 years, which is the term of the mortgage, turns into $3 million. They save $900 a month for 30 years. They saved $324,000 to give up $2,850,000 in wealth. This is the stuff that we coach your clients through. That's the holistic experience I'm talking about, not McDonald's mortgage, where we just simply give them what they ordered. Thank you. And number three, this is more simple, but clients for life. So we rely on our database so much. 50% of my business is and always has been my closing percentage. I've closed about 50% of my deals come from my previous clients. And the way we do this is our CRM. So we have constant contact with these people, high value add contact, with these people. We have rate monitoring, both manual, like we're looking at it manually, and digitally. So each client has their loan terms plugged into our system, and we get notified when a refinance opportunity comes up for them, pre-engineered for the cost, the cost of the savings versus cost differential so that we're not refinancing them too soon, and waived lender fees for life. So every client that comes back to us, we don't charge them any lender fees. So like no origination points, underwriting fee, processing fee, None of that stuff. So that's our Client for Life program. That's important for you because, like I said, we track the business. So we generate tons of referrals out of our database because we're so good at following up with them, which means we generate tons of referrals for our best referral partners because we've got a big database together. And so that's pillar number 2. Pillar 3 is we help you win. We have a 7 steps to winning the offer process. You can find that on our website, which is, I think, LassigTeamMarketing.com. I think it's on there, LassigTeamMarketing.com. It's also going to be at the event on Thursday. We'll go more into depth on that. And number 2, as part of pillar 3, helping you win, is we're the number 1 direct lender in the nation. So CrossCountry Mortgage is the company we represent. We are the number 1 lender in the nation. Why is this important? Because as the number 1 lender, we have the most competitive rates, the most competitive fees, and we have every single program you can possibly imagine. I'll give you an example on a jumbo. This is the most easy one to demonstrate. On a jumbo deal, which is way more prevalent here in this marketplace than it ever has been. On a jumbo deal, most mortgage banks can offer maybe 2 or 3 or 4 options for jumbo financing. Our company has 27 options for jumbo financing. And these 27, we can get away with 1-year tax returns and a 50% debt to income ratio and a 680 credit score on a jumbo. Self-employed. Like, I mean, there's some crazy stuff we can do that most of you in your minds, because not most lenders don't have these options, they don't recognize that these things are possible, and you may be punting on clients that you don't need to punt on. So that's another way we help you win. And pillar 4 is growing together. So it's new strategies, content, and stuff like this to help you guys elevate your mindset, elevate your skill set, and close that one more deal. So that's our 4 core pillars of value. That's my quick elevator pitch to you guys. Now, a couple quick rules to cover before we dive in. Number 1, the Lassig team at CrossCountry Mortgage is not CrossCountry Mortgage. So there are other teams here in this marketplace. It's a massive company, thousands of branches, more and more of them keep coming into Utah. It's not the same thing. Just like Janet's business is not the same as Mike's business, even though you're both at Keller Williams, right? We run different businesses. So you can't expect the same thing from every cross-country person, and you certainly can't look at us poorly if you have a poor experience with a cross-country person, because we are the Lassig team at CrossCountry Mortgage, not CrossCountry Mortgage. Okay, that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is if you're not 100% satisfied with my presentation today, come see me in the back and I'll give you a 100% refund. Okay. Okay, now let's dive in. Sorry, I'm trying to bust through this. We got like, 20 minutes? So I should be able to get through pretty quick. So if we open it up, first one, the pain. So like I said, I'm just sharing a few points from the larger presentation, which I would encourage you to attend if you can, but curing the pain. So how do we elevate our mindset? How do we elevate our skills from a presentation standpoint so that we can win more buyers in light of these changes with the NAR settlement? Because consumers for sure are way more knowledgeable about your commission at this point. It's just like it's everywhere. So you have to have these conversations. Well, number 1, we say cure the pain because you have to understand to properly present to somebody. You got to understand like what is their pain point, because without understanding what their pain point is, in other words, what they want to solve, you can't bring any value to them. That's where word vomit comes in, and you start just trying to talk about stuff they don't care about as a realtor. So you got to be prepared to present for that client, and then highlight your skill sets, highlight the features and nuances in your business that help cure those pain points. So this came from an NAR report. You can look it up, but there was an NAR study that they did, and they interviewed, I can't remember, like 3,000 home buyers, and they distilled down like what are their biggest pain points? Why are they not moving? An anecdote on this: we did a research report about 6 months ago at our office, and we were like, all right, like what's actually happening with the buyers? And we looked at all the referrals we got, and we scraped out all the ones that bought. We scraped out all the ones that were unqualified, credit, bankruptcy, something like that. And we scraped out refis. And we distilled it down to who are those people that were qualified and could have bought, but they chose not to buy. Just in our office in 1 year, 12-month period, there were 600 of those. And we just do business practically right here. 95% of my business is right here in the Valley. There were 600. So you imagine there are so many people that have, and we're damn good at addressing these pain points, mind you, and we still had 600. There's an opportunity, if you can really get into the hearts of these clients, to create more transactions, but it's not a fully selfish thing, because we know that the long-term average in every market, whether it was COVID, which was super unknown, or after COVID, when apparently things were supposed to crash, we know that we've seen a 4 or 5% increase in home prices pretty consistently forever. That is massive wealth creation. So if we communicate this to our clients, but understanding their pain points, the pain points, number 1, interest rate. That's pretty obvious, right? We know interest rate is a massive pain point. Number two, which is odd, is the home search. So the home search process for buyers was painful. They were nervous about it. It was miserable for them to go through it. So that's pretty easy for you guys. You know how to analyze properties. You know how to simplify that for the customer. They don't want to just go open 10,000 doors, right? That's why they're saying the home search is a pain point, because they went to a bunch of houses, they didn't like any of them. You just convoluted the process. How do you bring value that way? Now, getting the home under contract. This is awesome for you guys, because if the number 3 buyer pain point of 3,000 buyers that were interviewed is getting a home under contract, how are they going to operate without paying a realtor to help them do it? It's not going to happen, right? 90% of those people need you. And then number 4, again, going to that point, lack of knowledge / affordability, which is kind of the point I was talking about. Lots of people think it's unaffordable. Lots of people think they should wait for interest rates to drop, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of us in this industry who, by raise of hands, said, just date the rate and marry the house. Who said that to their clients? I definitely said it. Like, all of us said it. That is so pathetic. Like, we are not speaking to the actual root of the issue for the client. That's a cute little meme, sure. But date the rate, marry the house does not address your client's pain point. Understand what the client's pain points are. Collaborate with your lender partner. We would love to be that person for you, and address these things. Implant this stuff into your buyer presentation so that you can actually cure the pain and win their love, win their trust. Then they don't question your compensation. Cool? So that's cure the pain. Now moving to the next page, which is strengthening negotiating skills. So a little quiz. Let's just start with home buyers. What do you guys think the number one most important thing for home buyers is? This was another NAR study that was done. What's the number one most important thing for a home buyer when you're working with them? Communication, okay. Trust, yes. Maybe I've kind of got you down the path. Transactionally, what's the most important thing for them? Payment? Yep. So finding the right home is number one. Lisa cheated because she came to the presentation, but I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. No, I know. I'm teasing you. So finding the right home is number one for any home buyer. Not the monthly payment, not the price, not any. Of course, you have to provide good service, but finding the right home. And like, I'll prove this to you. If you imagine, say you've got a client that is buying a $700,000 house, and they need their payment to be under $4,000. $700,000 house, they need their payment to be under $4,000 a month. You find the exact house. It's got the exact bedroom count. It's got the ensuite. It's got the main level. It's got the pool. It's everything like perfect, what they've asked for. And it's even got a half acre instead of a third, which is really what they wanted. It was a wish, not a need. And if you can structure this where you hit a $4,000 payment, do you think they'll buy that house regardless of the price? They'll buy that house regardless of the price, right? People buy on payment. They do not buy on the price of the home. But as long as you find the right home, they're willing to pay over the budget. Does that make sense? That was the point. Number 2 is what? What would you say number 2 is? Finding the right home is number 1. What's number 2? Yes, monthly payment. So that was a gimme. Monthly payment is number 2. So as long as you find the perfect home and we can match the monthly payment, they will buy that house. So number 3, what would you expect number 3 to be? Transactionally. Price of the home. So number 3 is the price of the home. And so, like, what are we freaked out about with commissions? Can we build it into the price? Can we do, we're freaking out about, the buyers don't care. As long as they can get the right home and they can get the right payment, the price and all these other details, your commission, none of that crap matters in the grand scheme of things. But you have to be professional enough and equipped enough to properly guide the clients through that decision-making process. So moving on to the next section, what is most important to sellers? Okay, net price. Any other guesses? No? So timing, which is, that's closer to the number 1. Number 1 that was discovered in this study is certainty. The sellers want certainty the deal is going to close. So price, yes, is important, but is the deal going to close? So you think about it right now. in this market, Robin, I think, was talking about this, and maybe just alluding to this, but buyers are a flight risk for almost anything. I had a buyer recently, they literally went through 5 contracts and they just canceled them for the most ridiculous reasons. Like it was super willy-nilly, like they're playing a video game and there's not real life with real sellers. It was crazy. So how do we give them certainty in light of the current market conditions? Well, the way we give sellers certainty is get our buyers bought in, get with the right lending partner so you can execute, and offer a contract that you can close quickly and give that seller certainty. Now you have the flexibility to negotiate on price and to negotiate on your commission. So for example, if you can do a 5-day due diligence, get your home warranty acclaimed, set up to, or excuse me, home inspection is I guess what we need, but 5-day due diligence, get your inspection done really quickly, get it with the lender, get the lender to get the appraisal, and have a 7-day financing deadline and a 15-day closing. If you do that, that's pretty damn certain, because a lot of the contracts I'm seeing are a 3-week finance and appraisal deadline and then another 1 to 2 weeks to close because there's just no pressure. But in order to negotiate in an uncertain market, if you can give them certainty, your offer will take precedence over the others. So we can definitely help that. I think our average closing timeline right now is like 2.5 weeks. And that's even on the deals we don't have to try to close quickly. There's some that we close in, the fastest legal closing is 8 days. So we can help with that big time. Certainty number 2, what would you say number 2, pain, or I guess what's most important to sellers, number 2? Certainty is number 1. Yeah. Yep. So now it goes to sales price. That's right. Yeah. So number 2 is sales price. But you said this perfectly, Mike. Sales price really is just a function of the market. So if you ignore the sellers that are completely unreasonable, sales price is pretty like black and white. There's nothing magical to it. You pull comps, you run the comps, and the sales price is the sales price, and that's what it should be. So now it's like, are you confident and knowledgeable enough to present that to your sellers or present that to the seller's agent in a tactful way that enables you to get the deal done with the certainty you can provide? Sales price comes number 2. So we want to highlight 1, finding the right home for home buyers is the first key point. Number 2, for sellers, whether you are representing the buyer and you need to negotiate on behalf of them, or you're representing the seller, underscore what is remember what's most important: certainty. Getting the deal done is most important. Now number 3, what would number 3 be for sellers? Would be your guess? Nope. That would be certainty more so. Number 3 we wrote down was contract terms. So other terms. These would be inclusions, home warranty, HOA fees, that stuff. Yes, it matters, kind of, not really. If you can get a deal closed quickly and you can get a price that's reasonable, you're probably going to get the deal done. Now, what's most important to the listing agent? This should be easy.
Commission.
Okay. Commission.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Commissions are
Communication.
negotiable, et cetera, et cetera.
So what we found was the most important thing to a listing agent was the most important thing similar to a seller, which is closing the deal. Commission, maybe. Yes, that probably has something to do with it. But in other words, certainty. This listing agent and the seller want certainty. So for a seller, how do you give them certainty? Well, you get the earnest money hard for the buyer as quickly as possible. That's how you give them certainty. Now you can flex on commission. You can flex on price. But we move on to giving an agent certainty. Well, an agent certainty, yes, they want a quick closing. Yes, they want trim deadlines. But unless you have a reputable team on your side to actually execute on these quick deadlines, the agent is not going to have certainty like you guys. If there was, abcmortgage.com and it was a 2-week closing, would you give your client confidence to accept that offer? It's pretty unlikely. If you don't have confidence in a lender that can execute, a local lender that can execute and provide the service, that is, a pretty big deal. So giving listing agent certainty is working with us. I'm sure you have other good lenders too, but I would say we have a great reputation. This is something we can give to your agents. And again, in the full presentation, we're talking about our 7 steps to winning the offer process. Part of that is giving these listing agents certainty and helping you negotiate these deals. So the bottom line is negotiate better by understanding what is important to the person you're negotiating with. That's how we elevate our negotiation skills. So we elevate our presentation skills by curing the pain and not just word vomiting on them, actually speaking to what they need. We improve our negotiating skills by really understanding what's important to them and tying our negotiation to that. A little story to make this point maybe more clear. Who's heard of the Ritz-Carlton? You have? Yep. So the Ritz-Carlton has a policy where a customer service policy that says they cannot say no. They cannot tell a customer no. So they have to be creative in the way that they navigate crazy requests that we all probably get. So a person calls in the Ritz-Carlton in Florida and they say, hey, I would like, my wife and I are celebrating our anniversary and I see I can book the presidential suite online. So clearly it's not booked. We're coming to stay there tomorrow. I want to book it to wow my wife, but I want to get a better deal. Can you do it for $99 a month? The thing's going to sit vacant anyway. And the customer service agent cannot say no. So the customer service agent pauses and says, well, what's important about the presidential suite? Why is that impressive? And he says, well, you know, I want the best view. I want to be able to see the beach and make this a really cool experience for me and my wife. And the customer service agent says, okay, well, our presidential suite, because it's so large, is actually on a lower level without a good view. And so to really help you accomplish the view and wow your wife, you should go to a corner suite on a high level floor where you have a panoramic view both directions of the city and the beach. And this is only $149. So it's not quite your 99, but it's much less than the $399, which is the rack rate for the presidential suite. How does that sound? They signed off on it quickly. Why? Because he spoke to what they needed. The agent spoke to what they needed. They understood what they needed and they spoke to that. So that's how we strengthen our negotiating skills. Now flipping to the next page, which Mike, you were really on point on this. And I think this is huge, would be a great training, honestly, for how you execute in your business, but market knowledge. So Robin, you were saying one of your pain points right now is there are houses that are sitting on the market doing nothing. And then there's other houses, I'm sure you guys have been in these experiences even recently, where there's multiple offers. You can't get the offer accepted because there's a lot of people behind you. That's called a transitional housing market. So the NAR says a seller's market, or excuse me, a buyer's market is 6+ months of inventory. We know because of COVID, a seller's market is 0 to 2 months of inventory. Seller just writes the rules and it is what it is. You pay them. We find ourselves in a transitional housing market, which is 2 to 5 months inventory. Salt Lake County, single family is about 3 months. Townhomes and condos are about 4 months. So we're sitting in this transitional market. So I loved what Mike said, because how can we understand market knowledge? Because a lot of this stuff is very basic in our minds, and we don't think it's important to coach a client through this whole logic because they're stuck in the last time they bought a house or the last time their parents or their friend bought a house. That's the advice that they're receiving, not professional advice from you guys. So if you can coach them through, hey, COVID was a seller's market. A buyer's market looks like this. We find ourselves in a transitional market, and you, with professionalism and knowledge, you coach them on how to structure an offer and how to win the house they want. Remember, finding the right home is the most important thing. You coach them on how this knowledge will help them win the home that they want. You will get that deal and you'll earn their trust and ultimately be able to negotiate your compensation. No questions asked. So market knowledge, I think, is really a critical thing that you can leverage in a simple way to coach your clients. And again, so that's the end of the presentation. These are just a few little sneak peeks of the full presentation. Mike and I will go over some questions. I just have a couple housekeeping things here. But I would encourage you to come to the full thing. We go into a lot more of like, how do you integrate this stuff into your actual presentation, into your business, into the fabric of your business, and make it wow. But the next page is subscribing to our newsletter. Lots of you here probably get this, or maybe all of you get this. If you don't, you should please subscribe. We provide a ton of unique information, like just super random. Some of this content is on there, a lot of market data, a lot of market updates, a lot of stuff that's high value, upcoming events, and a lot of stuff that's packaged in a way that you can share with your clients or on your social media to convert business. That's the light we're always looking through, is how do we help you passively convert business in your business with our efforts. So please subscribe to that. Now, how to refer us. This is how you refer our team. Lots of you refer us here. We have a lot of simple ways you can call, you can text, you can send an email, you can scan the QR code, submit it online. Like I said, we're fully operational 6 days a week. So this is not bar napkin applications or pre-qualifications. This is like fully underwritten pre-approval 6 days a week. And then the last page is winning the buyer presentation. So you can scan there and RSVP. There's 5 seats left. So we would love to see you there. If you can make it, that's this Thursday, September 12th at Toscano in Draper. So thank you. Yeah.
Let's give Brock a round of applause. I'm going to keep him up here though. Because I want to just ask a couple. I know we're creeping up on the end of this, so bear with me. First off, as real estate agents, if you do not have an extremely competent mortgage lender as your partner, you need to get one. So there's my plug for Brock.
Thank you.
And I know we have other mortgage lenders here through our office too, is if you're not going to use Brock, find a good, competent mortgage lender. It's invaluable. I still learned so much. Thanks for
Thank
that
you.
today.
Yeah, thank
That
you.
just, I'm sitting there thinking of, where you talked about that value and the payment and the pricing on it. I'm just going through my head on clients that I need to call and have a better conversation with.
Mhm.
I want to be pretty quick on this,
Yeah.
but there's a couple questions. So I'm going to ask you, I ran into a scenario, I had one of the agents call. I'll try to sketch this out. So it was a buyer's agent. They had made an offer on a listing and they put, let's just call it, it was 4%
Hmm.
for their buyer broker fee
On
in
the rep C.
in the rep C
Okay.
on it. And then they got a counter offer back and there was some other terms on it, but it reduced that to 3.5%. And so the buyer's agent went to the buyer and said, our contract is with 4. If the seller doesn't pay it, that we need to, you need to cover it. And the buyer says, well, I want you to get paid. Let's counter the seller back. So we countered to raise the price by 1/2 of
Mhm.
1% to cover the brokerage and it was designed an additional to brokerage fee. Tell me how mortgage lenders are going to react to that. Wasn't
I
for buyer
honestly think-
closing
yeah.
cost. It was raising the price, let's just call it by $5,000 to get the full compensation for the buyer's agent.
So us lenders, the way I look at it is we're going to be pretty hands off. We don't have any motive or interest to dictate or manage
Okay.
that whatsoever. But I would say that appraisers are probably going to be, they are always a little bit
Mhm.
reluctant, whether you raise it for price, for concessions
Okay.
or whatever. So I would just say you need to be really prepped. You and the listing agent or the buyer agent and the listing agent and their clients need to be really prepped for a potential of issues on the appraisal.
Okay.
Because I think the appraiser is going to take that.
So it's going to be more of an
More
appraiser, not so
significantly.
much a mortgage lender. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't really care.
So that gives us an idea. And obviously anytime it'll be the same thing as we're raising it to get another 5K towards buyer's closing costs, right? We still risk that appraisal. Now, the other situation, let's say that I'm representing you and I want to write an offer on this property and we know that most mortgage lenders are okay. I asked the seller to pay 6% towards buyers and we have a nice addendum that says buyer's closing cost to be used at buyer's discretion. And I might even add in there that says also could be used for buyer's brokerage fee.
Mhm.
So I write an offer on Stacy's listing and her seller says, that's fine. You're not asking me for a commission. We're just giving, and that was cool. And we're getting 6% concession from the seller designated to the buyer. Can the buyer dictate that with the lender or how does it need to be spelled out if 3% of that 6 is going to pay the buyer's brokerage fee?
You just need to make sure you communicate with the lender because lots of
Okay.
lenders, this is not going to be normal for lenders in general. We've run into it a couple of times. So just communicate to them. But as a lender, as long as it fits within the thresholds, because there are still limitations, even though the commission portion doesn't account for that
Okay.
limitation. So we have to be cautious there. That's a little bit of a gray area. If you just have one big lump sum, there might be a demand. I could see possibly underwriting maybe saying if you're doing like a conventional 5% down, you get
Yeah.
6, you can generally only get 3,
Right.
interest in party contributions. They
Okay.
might want it broken out
Okay.
later that 3 is going towards concessions and 3 is going towards realtor commissions. Maybe. I think this is a dynamic situation
Right.
that we're having to
Probably
navigate through.
no exact answers to it and it could depend on the situation. So in that
But I
I've
would say
been,
as realtors, make sure you babysit it because if a
Yeah.
lender misses it on like a CD or something, you could delay closing. And of course, for 3% in compensation, you're going to delay closing, but it could be a fiasco. So make sure there's a lot of communication. and
let's not
babysitting.
wait to the last second and maybe even prior to writing if you choose. I've had some agents ask me, can I do that? And I'm like, we can do whatever we want and buyers and sellers can agree to it. However, it's going to come down to just like most of our transactions, there's limits and it's got to fall in line with what the mortgage lender. So if you're going to approach that, recommendation is, if Brock's doing the loan for you, talk to him about it on how to structure that. If you're just asking for a lump sum from the seller and you're expecting that to cover some or all of the buyer brokerage fee, it's probably going to need to be spelled out, but it's good to have a conversation with this guy first before you do that and get under contract, and then everything kind of blows up. So those were the kind of the two questions I have that I've been seeing. Again, uncharted territory. I think we'll probably see some direction from lenders as time goes on of what's allowable on what on particular.
But it's pretty clear that it's allowable for buyers to get sellers, or excuse me, buyer agent commission covered by the seller without any impact
Okay.
on interested party contributions.
Okay.
I could just see that if you have one lump sum, maybe underwriting is going to say, hey, you need to clarify what portion of this
Yeah.
is. I mean, it seems obvious, you know, so again, I think it'll just depend on the situation, but.
Communicate with the lender,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the questions I had. You guys have anything, Lisa?
Yes, I noticed when you were talking before, Brock, about taking money and showing them how to invest it and increase their wealth.
Mhm.
I know in another presentation, you had talked about taking some of that money and paying off their bills.
Mhm.
And I just want to share an experience, and I'm sure many of you may already know this, but some may not. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware that when somebody sells their house, they don't have to put the whole thing, like you said, down on the next property. I had clients recently that were, they had a difficulty because they wanted a house. They were in a townhouse. They wanted a house. And I wasn't sure what was holding them back until I got into deeper conversation with the lender about their debts. And I said, well, why are they trying to put everything on a down payment then? Why don't we pay off some their debt? And they might even have a lower output every month. And so as it turned out, that was the case. So they paid off, $30,000 or so of debt. Their mortgage doubled because they were sub 3% in their townhouse, right?
Mhm.
But they now had a house, and they now also had less monthly output in their total debt. So, and of course, as we know, as we're not tax consultants, but you can write off a lot of that interest debt or payment,
100%,
right,
yeah.
on your taxes. So that was a win-win-win for everybody because they were able to get into it. I think sometimes mortgage lenders that maybe aren't Brock don't think about that portion of it. And so we as agents know that we can ask questions and have a really good conversation with our lenders to try to get people moving forward.
I think to Mike's point, like have a lender that knows how to do their job because it makes you look more professional. It gets you more referrals from your clients. I mean, if you're having to do the lender's job, that's just silly. It's pointless, and like we as a good lender can elevate your brand by doing some of the stuff that Lisa just said. And they're like, you are the hero, right? Because you're the one that made the intro. So I do think that's a huge point. And I appreciate you bringing it up, but yeah, big.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa.
Can I make a
Nick?
quick comment? I've seen this twice now. I went to the longer version of it that he did last time, so I would definitely recommend going to that. And they feed you, so it's nice. It's a
Mhm.
win-win. But both times the content I thought was really great. The bigger part that I got both times now is what is his value proposition for the Lassig team? Convenience, closing more deals, right? Holistic mortgage advice, getting quality financial advice. And so every time that I see that, I just think, man, do I know what my value is? Can I present it that way? Am I that clear on it? And I can't. That's the answer, is that I can't. So that's where my work lies.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, we all got work to do. Who wants to get better? Okay, let's just keep doing it. And if you don't have a rock star mortgage lender, what that conversation was just about, find one. There's one sitting in this room right now. Okay.
And I'll arm wrestle anyone that you bring to the table, and I'll
there-
probably win. So if we have to debate.
Next team meeting, we're having an arm wrestling competition. Before I tune out, is there any Zoomies got anything? All right, Zoomies are quiet. Thanks for coming
Thank you.
today. Acclaimed left us some tacos. Go eat and enjoy. Thanks, Brock, for coming.